Good morning.
Good morning. Morning recording.
It's 8:19 a.m.
We were shooting for 7 a.m. and that didn't happen.
I'm doing a crazy face for you.
Why?
So we can wake up.
Me.
So we can wake up.
Okay.
This is a wake up face.
I'm awake.
And you can't see it, listeners, because I don't have time to do a video podcast.
No, Marshall's got to go to his grandma's house.
I gotta go see Nam. That's what we call her.
Really?
Bryce couldn't say grandma. She said Namos. Now we call her Nam.
That is something else.
It's pretty good.
Back in Nam.
Back at Nam's house, where there's all the 1970s fixings and stuff. She's a weird old lady. I like her.
That's cool.
Welcome to Cinema Lounge, the official podcast of The Great Scub-Doo, the YouTube channel we never touch. I'm Marshall, and with me today is, as always, the coolest guy, the shortest guy, the tallest guy, the strongest guy.
That's what they say.
The guy with the Patagonia hat.
Amen.
With the green Henley.
Whoa.
But like it's a thicker one.
Yeah, this is a thermal
It's like a sweater.
Henley.
Oh.
I don't know what you want to call it.
I'll call it nice because you look good.
Thanks, dude.
It's Ben.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm tired a little bit.
Now, when did you wake up?
Well, I woke up to get over here on time. I saw your text that was like, you want to push it back a bit?
Yeah.
And then my eyes fell closed once again. And then woke up again late again because you were like 7:30, and then my body was like, wake up at 7:30, I guess. So
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Which is fine.
Anyway, yeah, we're the after post-Christmas.
After Christmas.
Chris Postmas.
Post-Christmas. Yes.
So, yeah, if you're a listener listening in August, put yourself in a Christmas spirit for this one, because that's
Next
where
August?
we're at. I don't know.
That's a long time.
Who knows what we'll be doing? You'll be getting married.
Yeah, hopefully.
In fact.
That's the ideal.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. Anywho, yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking. Last night I woke up at like 2 a.m. I was in contact with some people who have the stomach flu over the weekend.
Gross.
And so I woke up at 2 a.m. and I think I convinced myself I was going to throw up, / that I had diarrhea. So I went to the bathroom for a while, and then I was like, oh wait, I'm fine. I'm just tired. And then I realized that I had a little bit of heartburn and indigestion. So I took a Tums, and then I slept the rest of the night. So maybe that's why I'm sleepy this morning.
Yeah, because you didn't sleep very much?
That could be it. That sometimes doctors say that when you don't sleep very much, you might be feeling tired the next day.
That sounds unrealistic to me. You know what they say? Sometimes science is a liar. So, I took a drink.
That was for all of our conservative listeners out there.
Nope, that was from Always Sunny. There's a great part on Sunny where they're debating evolution versus creationism.
Sick.
And Dennis and Dee are like, no, it's evolution. Mac, you're an idiot. And the rest of the people are still kind of on that camp. But Mac is like the pseudo-Catholic of the group. Have you watched Sunny? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's trying to convince them that it's creationism. Sick. And he comes in with a massive art board. And his argument is, this is Plato. This guy was the smartest guy, and everybody thought he was the smartest dude of all time. And in the end of his life, he consumed a bunch of mercury and died, making him a and then he slams a thing on the thing that says liar or something. And it's like, and I don't know if that's Plato or if that was Socrates, but he goes through a bunch of different philosophers. It's like, and that's why they're
I think it's Socrates.
Yeah.
Isn't there a famous painting where he's on his bed and everyone's like, oh no.
Shouldn't have eaten all that mercury.
And he's about to eat it because the government's making him kill himself.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's great.
Cool.
But it's very funny. So his argument for creationism is that science is a liar sometimes.
Sick.
Which is an interesting way to say that we're constantly learning. And things change when we learn new things.
Whoa.
But yeah, that's a funny thing from Always Sunny, which is a funny show.
We should all watch it.
That's
not why we're here, Marshall. What are we here for?
It's not. And I can imagine even... There is a connection, though.
Oh.
Because Irish pub here is an Irish movie.
Wow. It's Always Sunny.
It's Always Sunny in INISHERIN.
That takes a place. INISHERIN. INISHERIN. That's a tough word to say sometimes.
Yeah, I kind of figured it out eventually.
Yeah, me too. You kind of have to just picture an Irish person saying it.
INISHERIN.
INISHERIN.
The Banshees of INISHERIN.
I wish I practiced my Irish accent for this episode, but I didn't.
Well, mine's just going to be really offensive and
Perfect.
Lucky Charms-ish.
Perfect.
So don't worry about it. Or Samwise Gamgee. Those are the two options.
We will offend some Irish people this episode.
I hate the Irish.
Dude, you can't say that.
They suck.
You can't say that. They've gone through a lot.
Kiss my patootie, Irishman.
Okay, and now you're making a potato joke? Really? Really, Marshall?
I wasn't trying to, but man, I'm smart without even realizing it. I'm the smartest guy of all time. I have no problem with the Irish. I love the Irish.
Let it be known.
I've had a Guinness in the past.
Wow.
I like Lucky Charms.
That's really cool.
Always Sunny is one of my favorite shows. The episodes where they go to Ireland are surprisingly very, very good. And I love them. And you should watch them. Charlie Kelly makes me have a little teary moment because he's so emotional.
Wow. Here's a fun thing about Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, the movie that we're watching, The Banshees of Inisherin.
I told
2022.
My wife, Kate, I said, we're going to watch Banshees of Inisherin today. And she said, what? I said, The Banshees of Inisherin. She's like, I've never even heard of that. I was like, what? You haven't heard of it? This is like up for many award season. And so she grabbed the
TV guide.
Remote, the Alexa remote. Wow, TV guide. That's the throwback. We found an old newspaper at my dad's house from 2008 that had a TV guide in it.
That's great.
Cool. Anyway, she grabbed the remote and she said Banshees of Ed Sheeran as the thing to search for it, and it pulled it up as the #1 option. So
that's amazing.
It does know if you're looking for Banshees of Ed Sheeran that it's actually Banshees of Inisherin.
Computer, what is the Banshees of Ed Sheeran? Nope, didn't work for me. Computer, stop. Banshee is a super-powered mutant. What? Oh, it went to X-Men.
It knows you.
That's interesting.
That's giving you a tailored result right there.
That's super weird. I forgot that Banshee was an X-Man. That's Cyclops' brother. Not important. To quote an old in joke, that's not what this show is about. Ben?
Yes.
You know what this show is about?
This show is in our podcast?
This show, yeah.
We sit in a lounge with jazz music and talk about cinema?
Yes, but today...
It's about the Banshees of Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
The Banshees of Inisherin, directed by Martin McDonagh and written by Martin McDonagh, who was also the guy behind 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Also kind of a hard title to say. 3 Billboards. 3 Billboards.
There's a lot of mouth movement.
There's a lot of mouth movement. Not enough, if you ask me. In Bruges, another Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell joint. And 7 Psychopaths. He's not made a lot of movies, but every one has been like very, very much really good. The score is by Carter Burwell, who did almost everything the Coen brothers have done, if not everything. I think it was everything.
Wow.
A Goofy movie, Being John Malkovich, 3 Kings, A Knight's Tale adaptation, The Rookie, In Bruges, 3 Billboards, and Missing Link, and a lot of other stuff. Cinematography by Ben Davis, who also did Kick-Ass, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, 3 Billboards, Eternals, Kingsman. So this guy has done some really beautiful work and some very like hired hand work.
Yeah.
That being the Marvel stuff. So that's very interesting to me. Not that Marvel doesn't have a unique look and style, but performances, you got Colin Farrell, who's amazing in this, Brendan Gleeson, who's amazing in this, Carrie Condon, who's amazing in this, Barry Keoghan, who's amazing in this, every other actor in this movie who is amazing in this.
Yeah.
VFX is done by, when I was doing the VFX category, I was like, what visual effects is there going to be?
The fire on the roof.
Oh, I guess that,
It
yeah.
wasn't good.
Was it?
No, I didn't think so.
Oh, I didn't focus on it too much because I'm not a loser.
The real fire was good.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I was thinking about another thing that would need obvious visual effecting. Or the lack thereof, a few things.
Oh, Marshall! That is good. We should talk about that.
Yeah. But yeah, their VFX was done by Union VFX and Goldcrest VFX, who, I don't know, maybe they're like Irish local. I've never heard of them.
Huh.
Accolades, I've got nothing because it's brand new, but it's been nominated for a bunch of stuff by a bunch of different organizations.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
I haven't looked at the Oscar shortlist to see if it's on any of those. I think it is. I think it was on for music, at least, for the score.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising, but also I agree with it.
What's the main competitor at this point? It's
for what? For Best Picture or for score?
I guess I was just looking at a list of Golden Globe stuff recently.
I don't know about the Golden Globes.
There is nothing leaked yet out of the 10 categories that they've said that they have documentary film, but no feature film.
Yeah.
But for the Golden Globes, it is in the list of best motion picture, musical, or comedy.
That category is always so weird and janky.
Yeah. It's up against Babylon, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Glass Onion, Knives Out Mystery, and Triangle of Sadness.
Okay, well, Knives Out or Triangle of Sadness is going to win.
Yeah.
Those are the two options there. Babylon is supposed to be a comedy because it's not a musical.
Best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Colin Farrell is up against Ralph Fiennes in The Menu. Fiennes, sorry.
Yeah, Rafe Fiennes. Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah.
Is it Rafe?
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Today I learned.
Yeah, Carmine Falcone.
Yeah, shut up, Marshall. Adam Driver in White Noise, Daniel Craig in Glass Onion.
I've heard that The Menu is really good, by the way. I really want to see that.
We really was close to seeing it in theaters, and then I didn't.
We should see it. We should
Is
watch
it still in theaters?
I don't know.
Anyway.
We should watch it.
I feel like maybe I don't care about seeing it in the theaters.
I ain't got money for that.
Anyway, yeah, so I guess that's not that helpful. But best motion picture drama in the Golden Globes is Avatar: Way of Water, Elvis, Fabelmans, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick.
I need to watch all of those.
So, yeah.
I'm really behind. I hope that Marcus does the thing. They did a thing a few years ago, like before COVID, where they would have a Best Picture film festival.
Yeah.
Where across 2 weekends you could pay like $15 and go and see all of the movies.
If Marcus doesn't, I know Alamo Drafthouse will do it again.
We should go do that. That'd be fun. I had a really good time doing that. That was the year that like Little Women and Phantom Thread, I think, was that year. And what was the Tarantino movie? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. I still haven't seen that. Ooh.
I really like it.
What's the other one that is going to be up? The Whale is going to be another one that isn't on any of these lists yet.
And I'm getting like mixed reactions to that now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because you can't trust Cannes. Cannes is just a bunch of rich people all applauding each other for 17 minutes for no reason.
Yeah, right.
And I'm sure that it's at least okay.
Right.
But just knowing that it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, it's going to be weird and hard to get into a little bit. So cool. I guess that's our tight news a little bit.
Oh, shoot.
I didn't have any tight news written down.
Oh, perfect.
So we talked about tight news, award season. That's coming up.
Get ready. Get your butts ready.
Get your butt ready. But back to the Banshees of INISHERIN. I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
The good thing about this being an audio episode is I can cut all these weird little bits that happen.
Perfect.
And it won't be janky.
That's great.
I have on my sheet here.
When you were all like, I'm going to my grandma's house. I don't want to have to cut janky little
bits of audio. This is the difference, is that to make the video podcast, I have to have 3 different video sources that I set up on a specific timeline, one of which I have to completely render out in the first place, which will take like 30 minutes.
Nice.
And that's the split view. And then I take them and I put them on a special sequence that makes it so I can cut to them by just pressing a button, like I'm doing a live show. And then when I pause, those cuts will just show up. And I can go back and fine tune that and edit that and use rolling edit to just move the cut point a little bit.
Right.
But it takes what used to take an hour essentially. The length of the podcast is about how long it would take to edit the show.
Yeah.
Because there'd be a few small changes I have to make.
Yeah.
But now it will take upwards of 5 hours.
Shoot.
Or more.
That's crazy.
Because I'm also doing funny edits every once in a while. If you're watching the video version, I just looked at the camera. If you're watching the video version of the show, the last one at least, where we talked about...
What was our last episode?
I keep forgetting. Master and Commander.
Thank you.
I did some funny edits in that one. Like I focused on I motion tracked my hand when I started talking about tight news because I kept going like this. I kept moving my hand around. So that was kind of funny. When I said that I hadn't seen Avatar and you went, "What?" I zoomed super close in on your face.
Is that the one with like
made
the
it bright red?
The red edit?
Yeah, and I added some reverb to it.
That's funny.
Which is pretty funny. There was another one where when I said tight news theme song, go, and then we both just kind of like went up and paused. I just kind of cut between both of us, and then slowly, like the last couple shots were like right close up
with like no music.
Yes. And it's really funny.
That's super great. Dude.
So like I'm really, really happy with this new, extremely more difficult version of the show that I've put together.
Yeah.
I've set a dangerous precedent for myself.
As all creative artists do.
Yes. So on my itinerary here, I've got intro, tight news, movie with the script, score, cinematography, performances, directing, VFX, accolades, then synopsis. That used to be synopsis notes when it was like story notes, but I've changed that to be just like, here's the synopsis, the description taken from IMDb. So when we say, what's the movie about? We can just look at that.
Oh, we should do that at the beginning of the episode more often, huh?
Yeah.
Oops.
General notes is now just all of my notes.
Okay.
And then general trivia is when I look at the IMDb trivia. General trivia. I've never watched How I Met Your Mother, but I understand.
Thank you.
If this, then that, and then the outro. So, synopsis. The Banshees of INISHERIN, directed by Martin McDonagh and starring Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson.
Okay.
2 lifelong friends find themselves at an impasse when one abruptly ends their relationship with alarming consequences for both of them.
And now spoilers.
Yeah, we've talked about stuff for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
go watch the movie if you haven't yet. You
it's on HBO.
big idiot.
And it's also on every pirate website that you can find.
Oh, nice. Arg. Any pirate website I can find. Any pirate website.
Any pirate website.
There's some weird pirate websites
Dude,
out there.
We're the pirates who don't do anything.
I'm not talking about pirating.
And we just stay home
Yeah.
and lie around.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And if you ask us to do anything, we'll just tell you we don't do anything.
Hell yeah. An
Yeah.
anthem. I want that printed out.
And I've
Put on a
never
wall
been to
somewhere.
Boston in the fall.
Amen.
What do you think of this movie?
I like this movie. Oftentimes, I have to gear myself up to watch things that I think or know will be sad, and it's been a practice. I've been trying to do it more often. I think it's a good thing for me. I think I often avoid.
You're too happy.
I avoid negative emotions. Yeah, you're correct. And then I don't process those feelings of grief or sadness or whatever. So often I run to the next exciting thing. So anyway, I think listening to sad music or watching sad movies is a good thing for me, and I usually have a lot of resistance to it, and choose to watch other things. So anyway, I've been trying to get myself to watch things that I know are like a little sad or melancholy.
Interesting.
And I feel like this movie is interesting because they call it a dark comedy.
And there are funny parts.
More of like, I think a comedy in terms of like Shakespeare's comedies, like
Yes.
tragedy comedy, like the situation is comedic, but it's a tragedy.
Yeah,
Like,
they play it in a way that makes it deadly serious.
yes.
Like, I keep wanting to say Colm Meaney because I keep thinking of the character's name is Colm, but then I think of the actor Colm Meaney.
Who's that?
Irish actor he's in Hell on Wheels. He's Engineer
yes.
O'Brien
Yes.
on Star Trek.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep thinking of him. But Brendan Gleeson. Brendan Gleeson's Colm cutting his fingers off to get this guy to stop talking to him
Yeah.
is played differently, super funny. But the way that they play it in this is so like horrifying.
Yeah. Right?
Especially with the music when you first get the reveal of the fingers and everything, the music is kind of like haunting and like
yeah.
like when you see his hand, it's like creepy.
But it's so weird because the reactions sometimes are the funny things where they're like, what are you gonna do about it? He's like, I'm gonna go give it back, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like
what
you're
are
gonna
you
go give
talking
it
about?
back? Like, what do you do? What the?
Yeah,
We should do that this entire episode. Just say,
Well, I'm still gonna bleep it all.
Oh, okay. Even if I say like they do in the movie,
Yeah.
it's like hardly a bad word.
I still have to do it.
Feck. Anyway, I think like the reactions sometimes are like funny to like the really is like it does kind of jump between those two things.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of fun that I was listening to some interviews and they were kind of saying without being too presumptuous of themselves, this is kind of like an ode to Ireland or kind of like a not a love song to Ireland, but kind of like a project filmed in Ireland. Oh my gosh, duh. We'll have to get back to that later.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Like beautiful. They did like, I guess they did like the first table readings like at like a small theater in the town that they were filming in Ireland. And yeah, like obviously the whole cast is Irish.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I feel like it makes me feel a little bit like that thin line between laughing and crying or, you know, like that sort of thing. Or like within a tragic moment, like busting a joke because it hurts or that sort of thing, I feel like is kind of the feeling of the quote unquote comedy of this movie.
Yeah.
Which I think was good for me because it gives you enough little breaks to like keep watching it, and not be like overwhelmed by sadness in the movie itself.
Yeah.
Like I'm not at any point like, this is so sad I'm turning it off. Like
it's not like it's very sad and it's at times like depressing, but it's not without some kind of I don't know if hope is the right word, but without it doesn't feel what am I trying to think of? You know what I mean? Like it's hope isn't the right word, but it doesn't feel like there's no way out of this situation, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. You like are always kind of rooting for everyone in the situation the whole time. That like within, and I think an interesting thing too is that I think for me at least, I identified with multiple characters at multiple points in the movie.
Yeah.
Although I think somebody could watch this and mostly identify with one character.
Yeah, most people are probably going to say that you're Podrick in this situation and not
exactly
Colm.
Yeah, but also like I don't know. Like depending on where
you can understand
people,
Colm.
Where people are at in life. Like I think those like the truth of the movie and the different characters is really fascinating. Whether it's like Podrick losing a friend and not knowing what changed. I think that's slash enjoying the simple life and like you're pulling for Podrick in that. Versus Colm, who's kind of coming to grips with, oh my gosh, my life is finite. I need to make something that lasts. I need to leave an impact, even if that means, like, for the greater good of my purpose, hurting some people. Like, that's okay. I'll hurt some people for like my purpose.
Yeah.
And then, what's the name of his sister?
I don't remember.
Oh gosh.
Does it start with an R?
It was just in another thing I was watching last night. No. I can't remember the name of his sister. Anyway, but Podrick's sister.
Is it Neytiri?
No. It does maybe feel something close to that, though. Anyway, but so Podrick's sister gets the job offer and can leave the small town world behind. And I feel like in her, I was identifying with conversations I've had with people from small town Nebraska.
Yeah.
Who, like, when they go back, or as you go to Holdridge to see your grandma, it's like, this is like the simple town, the town gossip. You go to the tavern, you go to the pub. You know, everybody knows everybody, and she gets a chance to leave that behind. And I think I know people who like identify that that's right. Anyway, so I think from the story itself, all those characters have some motive that feels really
at least somewhat like understandable and believable.
Even though the whole thing is ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. But it also like seems so believable. Like you could see this happening on this weird little off of the mainland island. It's interesting.
It's also fun that obviously like the characterization, like the characters changed a lot over the course of the movie. Which is like it's very believable when you get to the end of the movie, like, oh, this character is a vastly different person than the person we saw a few days ago at the beginning of the movie. Even though in real life, I don't know if people quite changed that drastically over a couple of days.
I don't know.
But something I thought was interesting in an interview with Colin Farrell, they were asking like, hey, Colin, do you build a big backstory to your character here? Like, obviously, we only see a little glimpse of Podrick. Do you build a backstory? And he was kind of like, you don't really have to. Like, the story, you don't need to know everybody's backstory for this story to be meaningful. Like, pretty quickly, I'm locked in on the characters. Like, I understand, like, music's important to this guy. You know, this guy is, like, the small town simplicity of having a friend and doing the same thing every day is important to him. Like, I don't need to know the rest of his life to understand this, which I thought was a pretty fascinating point to make as, like, from a storytelling perspective. Like, if the show don't tell kind of thing. Like,
I think for this story in particular, it helps that we don't know their history and their past, because the whole question initially is what happened? Why did this go wrong? Did he do something? Did he do something?
Right.
And we don't know. There's no history for us to possibly have any idea.
Like, within the first 5 minutes, it's Podrick showing up.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you coming out? Like, or, you know, whatever. He's not there.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, the IMDb blurb that you read earlier is literally just how the movie starts.
Yeah.
And
it's like, where's Colm? You're always with Colm.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was just sitting at home.
Yeah.
Sitting? Was he doing anything? He was smoking. Smoking?
Do you have a row? Is that what they call it?
You're rowing.
Rowing.
Are you rowing? I didn't think we was rowing.
Yeah.
You
So
better,
fun. And then
better go give him a knock. That'd be best. That'd be best.
boom.
Yeah.
I love the people in the tavern the whole time, like playing like third party between their relationships.
Yeah.
Like I love that too. Yeah.
It's very good.
What was your original question here? What were you talking about?
I don't know. Podcast.
Maybe
What
just
do you think?
I think you asked if I liked it.
I probably did.
And then I talked about how like a sad movie. I think I was debating whether or not this is actually a sad movie or not. You said you can keep watching it because there's not ever like a hopeless feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's this interesting thing where like the characters. It's not he. The reason that he gives him is that he just doesn't like him anymore. He didn't do anything and he didn't say anything.
Ooh.
He just doesn't like him anymore.
That's like the heartbreaking thing too.
Like, because what are you supposed to do? Like, there's nothing I can do about this. I am me. You just don't like me anymore.
Yeah, right.
I can't change myself. Can I change myself? I don't know. That's tragic.
Which I think is a funny thing. Maybe, I'm sure if this is the type of movie I could rewatch at different points in my life and take different things away, which I think is a great sign that it's a movie that will last and like is a timeless and classic movie. That I think right now I'm 26 and I've had some relationships that have changed, like people who I was close to, not as close to now, or that sort of thing. You don't see people. And you always wonder in the back of your brain, like, is it because I changed? Is it because nothing changed and we just are in different places? You know, that sort of thing. And so I feel like throughout the movie, I was identifying with a lot of that. Of is this really what happens? Is this really how relationships work? Can you wake up one day like the I don't know. I think I was like, and then mentally, I think I was fighting against that argument of like, this isn't how it should be, or this.
Well, it's not.
You know, Yeah, but I don't know. Is there anybody out there that could argue could really agree with the argument of Colm of, sorry man, like you're holding me back. I need to just quiet.
I can understand it, but I think the way that he goes about it is the different thing.
Right.
Because
you're not a nice guy. You used to be a nice guy.
Yeah, that whole thing is like really, really sad. Just that, I don't know, like the idea that this has been his friend all this time and now he's like, well, I want to do things and you can't help me with that, so I'm going to go off here and I don't like you anymore. Which doesn't even seem to be the truth. Like he seems to, throughout the movie, he will, like when the cop punches him in the face and he picks him up, like there's this respect that's still there.
A respect
and maybe that's just,
you can see somehow as they're riding back on the cart, you can see the depth of the friendship. You can see like, these guys knew each other for a long time. Well, it seems like he's just trying to get him to leave him alone, not that he doesn't like him. Right. Which is just so
cruel. Like, I can understand where he's coming from, but it's also coming from this very, very selfish place of thinking that he can just cut this lifelong relationship off with this guy who his whole reasoning for doing this is that he has nothing else and this is the only thing that he does and that's uninteresting to him. That's obviously going to be devastating to this guy.
Yeah.
And he thinks that he can just cut that off with no consequences and like it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
And that's just like wildly, wildly selfish.
Right.
And like I can totally understand his initial thought process, but the method that he goes through with that is just like
that's interesting.
Not
that
nice.
it's selfish in a community where it seems as though there's just lots of selflessness. Like the moral fabric of this community is we're a small community, we're on an island, like everybody knows everybody. I'm assuming there's a lot of community mindset in terms of I'm here for you, you're here for me, we're in this together, we all go to the pub, we all, like that sort of thing. So it's almost interesting as well that this guy is breaking off from what the whole community is doing. Yeah. And you even see that as he like brings in like musicians from the mainland and, like it's so different from what everybody else is doing. Yeah, that's an interesting thing that you just said.
Yeah.
I feel like... Tell me what you think of this. I think a lot of it feels like a bad breakup, whether it's a romantic breakup or a friendship breakup. I think like the whole... Sorry, it's not you, it's me... but actually it's you, like that whole kind of thing. Yeah. And you're holding me back, so I need to be free for a bit of you, even if it hurts you and you don't understand. Like I think at multiple times in this movie, it felt just like a breakup. Yeah. Like where there's one party who doesn't have closure, doesn't really understand it, and the other side is kind of like, well, I can't really explain it. I just need to be done with you. Like I need to be over you, which I think is kind of a fun trope or not a trope. I don't know, like the way where like the line between romantic relationship and deep friendship. Sometimes I think there's like that beautiful thing where deep friendships are like relationships. And I think people talk about it in Lord of the Rings or like Frodo and Sam, like there's a love between them, like that isn't romantic. That is like, if you get into all the Greek love, like, it's not Eros love, it's pathos love or whatever the heck. Agape love. That's the one. Right. I was just combining two different things.
Come on.
Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting too. That this can be like a dating relationship or like see ya, no closure. Like that happens in real life too.
Anyway, and I think you can look at this, and I think that the way that I've seen, I don't want to say regular people, but regular people talking about this movie who have seen it is that these characters don't really go through a change in attitude necessarily. Like obviously Patrick does. Yeah. But I don't think people realize the nuance of Brendan Gleeson's performance. Because I think at the end, he's trying to make amends.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious on what the reception is of the final scene. Like, do people want more closure, or are they good with where it was at? But you feel like he was making amends in the final scene? He was trying to be like, yes, well, we can move on now. Like,
I think, so I've got a few quotes here that I've written down of how I've interpreted it, because you get to the point where he's cut off an entire hand of fingers and everything. Like he's gone so far and this guy won't leave him alone and he doesn't understand why. Yeah. And he eventually goes and the donkey, Jenny, the miniature donkey, eats the one of the fingers or tries to eat one of the fingers, chokes on it and dies. And that's just takes Patrick over the edge. And it goes to the pub and tells him, like, tomorrow at 2:00, if you're home and if you're not, I'm going to burn down your house and we're done. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. Yeah. And I don't care if you're in there. And I hope you are.
Yeah. Make sure your dog's outside.
Yeah.
Which is throwing in the little piece of comedy into the ridiculous thing.
I've got no fight with that gum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Anyway.
And that's when Colm kind of realizes, I think, there's the drunken argument initially when Patrick has too much to drink, and then he has his whole thing where he tells him he's not nice anymore, and that starts to turn some gears, I think. And then later, there's that where he tells him, I'm going to burn your house down and everything. And that's when the gears start to turn of like, maybe I did this wrong. And maybe like, this is important to me and I want to do this, because he's also finished his music now. So he's like, oh, I was too focused on this. I don't know. So these are the quotes. He goes to the priest and he's telling him like all of this different stuff, and I killed the donkey. And the priest says, do you think God gives a damn about miniature donkeys, Colm?
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, and Colm says, I fear he doesn't, and I fear that's where it's all gone wrong.
Yeah.
And that could be a funny line, or it could be just incredibly deep and layered.
Yeah, I love that.
Because you have this guy who is coming from a very, like I was saying, like a pretty selfish, self-consuming point of view, where to him, compared to everybody around him, he is, in this sentence, he's the god in this situation. And Podrick is the dumb donkey who he doesn't care about and he should have cared about. And his neglect of him has turned him into something that he shouldn't be, and he doesn't want him to be. And it makes him sad to see him like that. What did I write down here specifically? Yeah, Colm seems to be realizing that he shouldn't have been so uncaring to Podrick, as his uncaring has set him down a path that he didn't anticipate and didn't care enough to consider in the first place. Intellect without heart.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind. Tell me how! The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Is nothing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the two characters, is you have Podrick, who's all heart.
The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
And no intellect. Oh man, well there's some editing. Crap. I just said heart.
The heart, Osborne.
3 times. The heart, Osborne. And Colm is intellect with no heart. At least for that part of the movie.
Yeah.
And then later he asks him, the priest says, how's the despair? So like they were theorizing a little bit earlier, like I think maybe it's just depressed. Like I don't know what's going on here.
And like he gets the priest to ask him about it a little bit.
Said, how's the despair? It's back a bit, but you're not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to do anything about it. Like that tiny exchange.
Of actually there was some backstory here.
Yeah, with like mild suicidal tendencies.
Right.
Like you're adding so much.
Right.
Colm has an existential dread about legacy, not thinking for a moment that what he does in his life matters if it doesn't go beyond him in ways he can see. And then we have this whole thing in the backdrop of the Civil War that's going on, because it takes place in 1923, and there's a few lines that are really poignant with that.
I love. Sorry, before we move on from that.
Yes.
I think a lot of times he felt like Colm gave off the like Van Gogh vibe of either depressed or existential, and like to the point of I'll cut off my ear and send it to you. Like
literally,
I'm making a statement, and I felt a lot like there was kind of the artist side of him, or even as they were walking around his house at the beginning, he had all those masks and all like
that's incredible set design.
Yeah.
Because you instantly get an idea of who this guy is.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I thought that was an interesting characterization, and that little line too of like how's the despair made me feel like, oh, he is like the Van Gogh. He is like the ridiculously talented artist who,
but he's like got something going on
his
inside.
his own something going on inside.
That's cool. I didn't consider that.
Anyway, what you were gonna go on to say?
The Civil War.
Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's like the final scene is like
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
So early on, after they have this initial like they have it out and they're like having the fight and everything, Colin Farrell is walking somewhere. I don't know if it's home or the pub. I can't remember, but he sees the fighting or hears the fighting, and he says, "Good luck to ye, whatever it is you're fighting about." It's like that.
I see it from afar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if their fight is a metaphor for that fight, or if that fight is a metaphor for this fight, or a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Hard to say. And then the last thing that happens, that like literally the last exchange is after like he's burned down the house. He thought he was dead, but he's alive.
Yeah.
All this different stuff. Colm says, haven't heard any rifle fire from the mainland in a day or two. And this is why I think like he's trying to change, because he's initiating this conversation.
Right.
Like he's trying to talk to him about this stuff, and he sees what he's turned Podrick into. He says, haven't heard any fire from the mainland in a day or two. I think they're coming to the end of it. I'm sure they'll be, and then Podrick says, I'm sure they'll be at it soon enough again. I'm sure they'll be at it again soon enough, aren't you? Some things there's no moving on from, and I think that's a good thing. I have here, Colm seems to almost be trying to make amends, but it's too far gone. Thanks for looking after me, dog, for me anyways, is the last thing he says. And that to me sounds like a way of just saying goodbye for good, because he realizes like, I've gone too far. I can't fix this.
Yeah.
So he'll have his silence. This is what I wrote, and I feel like an artist.
Okay.
I've got, Colm seems to be almost trying to make amends, but it's too far gone. Thanks for looking after me, dog, anyways, is his way of saying goodbye for good. He'll have his silence now, but it will be deafening. Because his friend is gone.
Yeah. Fantastic.
That's what I think of the performances and the story
also,
and the themes.
I love that it's a story open-ended. That could be what happens. It could be they never make amends. This is it. That also could be how the director, writer, what's his name?
Martin McDonagh.
That could be what he wants from the story.
Yeah.
He could be wanting you to take that away, that it's done, that the relationship is done forever. But once you put the art into the world, it's whatever people want to interpret it as. So if I feel like the story is actually leading towards something else later, or that they will. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of Barry Keoghan's arc in this? Because I think that he's a really fascinating character.
Sorry, Barry Keoghan is... Oh, that's the actor who plays the kid. The
hyperactive kid.
Yeah.
I think he might secretly be the best character in this movie.
Whoa.
And I don't totally know why. But I'm captivated by him. And I think like they talk about like like Podrick wants to know that he's not stupid and that he's not actually really dull. Like, no, you're nice. And he's like, yeah, I am nice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cute because obviously he is kind of dull and a little bit stupid.
Right.
But he's just like, my sister says I'm nice. I'm going to enjoy my soup. That's cool.
Yeah. And but then
they
later in the movie, he's like,
as a comparison.
I always wanted people to say that. Maybe I didn't want people to say that.
Yeah.
Like, they're always like, well, I'm not as dumb as him, right?
Exactly. So, but then you get these little insights into his character that like, there's more going on there than we realize.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's a bigger theme here is that like, there's a lot more. We don't know what's going on with people. Yeah. We don't know what's happening inside their heads.
Yeah.
We don't know that Colm is depressed. We don't know that what's going on with Podrick's sister, and we don't know what's happening in Barry Keoghan's character's head.
Right.
Like to the outside eye, he seems like the village idiot. But he seems to, I mean, he's being beat by his dad.
Right.
He is has this unrequited love
right.
for Podrick's sister, but not even in like a creepy way. He's just like a kid who doesn't know how to express it.
Yeah, right.
And it ultimately, like, does he commit suicide?
Right.
Or did he fall into the lake?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's that beautiful scene where he's trying to talk to Podrick's sister and be like, what do you, like the Han Solo thing, what do you think, a princess and a guy like me?
Yeah.
And Luke's like, no. It's basically that. Like, it's just him trying to awkwardly bring that up and just very gracefully be like, okay, well, you know, had to try, you know.
I'm going to go do that thing over there that I had to do.
Yeah, like, which is great. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of depth there that I haven't fully figured out yet.
Shaban. That's her name.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't spent as much time thinking about his character, I have spent a little bit more time thinking about how I love the misdirection from the village witch.
What is with the old crone, dude?
But I love the. She's like trying to be like, I'm not trying to whatever. She's like, I'm trying to be accurate or whatever.
Yeah.
What was that line?
I don't remember.
Where they're walking and he's like, knock it off with the weird.
She's
stuff.
like, there will be two people will die before whatever is out.
Yeah.
Do you think?
So
is that Jenny and is that Barry Keoghan?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Is like she wasn't accurate. The two deaths, which you listen to and you assume like, oh shoot,
it's gonna be
Coleman. Yeah, they're gonna kill each other or something. Or like even with the fire happening, you're like,
yeah,
oh, there's the second death. We've seen a first now. Now it's like the kid killed himself. Like he must have died in the fire. That was number 2. And then I think in the end it's actually Jenny and
Well, what's the sequence of events? Do you think is the sequence because we see Jenny because that's the instigation of the fire?
Yes.
Do we get the fire and then we see Barry Keoghan's character die? Is that the misdirect?
Yes, because so you see the fire and then the officer is showing up. His dad is showing up to arrest him, and then the old lady's like, "You better go check the river or check the lake or whatever."
Yeah.
And then he doesn't end up arresting him because he's grieving the death of his son or whatever. So I think that's the you see the fire. You're like, "There's one." You see him die. Oh, there's 2.
Yeah.
Prophecy fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And then oh my gosh, he's alive. Like I think that led to me being quite a bit more shocked that he was alive on the beach because I think death number 2 was Jenny.
Yeah, no, Jenny was definitely number one.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many video essays about this movie, and I can't wait to watch all of them because there's so much depth here. This is such a literary
yeah.
I mean, because this was originally written as the third of a series of plays about Ireland.
Oh, really?
That Martin McDonagh has been doing for a while.
Oh, really? Huh.
So, and you can really see that. Like, this really plays out like a stage play. The way that it's very, like, the drama is very heightened and everything.
Act
it feels
1,
like a
Act
play.
2, yeah.
I like. What would be the curtain drop in this?
The what?
What would be the curtain drop?
I don't know. I guess the final scene.
No, because like you get your
between the acts.
You get your character up a tree, and then second half is you get him
down. Maybe the first fingers or all 5 fingers.
Maybe
hitting the door. 1,
2, 3, 4.
What was that? What? Or something. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe that would be good. Man. There's so much to this movie.
Yeah.
And the more I think, the more we talk about it, the more I really, really love it.
Also, each character like kind of plays a classic role in a story, but without being too much of a...
It's not trite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like clearly like... Yeah, even thinking of like Jenny's a character in a play, like that kind of thing. Like,
what have I told you about bringing the animals in here? Don't make me put the animals outside when I'm sad.
Yeah, so good.
And then I love after she's left, he's moved all the furniture and all the animals are inside.
Yep.
That made me laugh so hard. It's so good,
dude. That was when he's writing the letter back to her. Oh my gosh, so sad.
Yeah.
When he's like, everything's going great, like no worries. I don't know if I'll be able to get out there because I have some sad news to report. Like,
it's like, I don't understand what you're saying about this and that, but I appreciate the offer for the bed.
Yep.
It's like, that's funny.
Shoot.
Anyway. It's very good. What other...
Did you like how it ended? Did you like the...
Yes.
You enjoyed the this is 2 different characters. We're never going to resolve it.
Yeah, I think if you do resolve it, then you're tying it up and it doesn't work. It defeats the purpose of the story. I think a lot of them. It would not... If you tie it up all nice in a bow, I feel like that really goes against the grain of the story that it's telling. That sometimes things change and you don't know why they change, and you can either try to figure that out or not figure that out.
Right.
And like, I don't know, I think that's interesting, especially in relation, and I won't get deep into this for obvious reasons, but I spent a lot of this movie thinking about 2 of our friends and recent events and everything. And I was talking to one of them and telling him you should watch this movie and everything. But I don't know. I think that particular thing gave me some interesting perspective on this.
I think all great movies we watch in the lounge touch our lives in a way, or connect to our lives, or speak to the human experience or whatever. Do you feel like or I guess rather the question, how does this, like, including this movie, how does it make you think about your life differently?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think I can understand. I think I take this a bit as a cautionary tale because I can definitely be in the camp often of I'm good where I'm at, and I want to be in this place, and I want to have this, and I want to move forward in this way. Like I would love to have a bigger room for the podcast, and I would love for this podcast to be my job, like all of this different stuff like that, and leave a legacy and all that. But I also I try to work really hard to also just be like, this is where I'm at, and this is what I've got, and I got to work with that. And if I don't become rich and famous from getting a podcast on the Planet Broadcasting Network, whatever, then am I okay with that? And I think the answer is yes.
So from the Gleason's character, like you
combining the both of them a little bit, you know, but trying to fight against the instinct to desire greatness, and which I really don't know if that's my bend, right? Because even when I talk about my thing has always been comic book art, and I wanted to go to this comic book school and stuff, and I've even been recently thinking like, do I want to do something that's more in the realm of like radio broadcast and stuff like that, because I enjoy doing this show so much. The idea of even being a minor celebrity in the comic book world, where I know all these artists and I follow them on Twitter and I see all their interactions and stuff. And if I told you Chip Zdarsky, do you know who that is?
No.
Ryan Stegman.
No.
Donnie Cates.
No.
Doc Shaner.
No.
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. Like, but
a couple of the names sound familiar.
Yeah. Doc Shaner is one of the artists on Strange Adventures. He's the one who does the idealistic world.
Okay.
The world in the past.
Okay, yeah.
Just the idea of even having that minor celebrity is just, I don't know if I even want that pressure.
Right.
So I don't know. It's this interesting thing of just, I certainly want success, but I don't want to have that be what my all-consuming desire is and what my all-consuming goal is, because that doesn't end. Like there's not that's not an achievable goal, I don't think. The goalpost is always moving.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think about what you can learn, what you have learned, what this makes you think about life?
I don't know. I think that's an interesting thought of like a blend between the two characters. And I think maybe part of that is because one character and like they're both moving in different directions character-wise. Like towards the end, Colm realizes what he's done. You know, like I think his statement about concern that God doesn't care about the death of a miniature donkey. Like I think that feels like where I want to be. Like I want to.
You want to care about the miniature donkey?
Yeah, I want to care about the miniature donkey. Also, I want to live in a world where God or the universe or whatever cares about the miniature donkey. Yeah. And then on the other side of things, I think Podrick's character is moving in a direction that I don't want to be. Like I want to resist that. Like he's broken in the end. He's like, I'm done. Yeah. This is over.
I'm vengeance.
Yeah. Which on one hand is maybe a healthy place to be at when there's a person cutting off their fingers because you're too clingy on them.
Yeah. It's like, screw you, dude. Like you're going to predicate your entire life on me now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I think obviously healthy boundaries. Yeah. However, I think the fight for simplicity, I want to fight for simplicity. I want to fight for kind of what you were saying. Like, if I only live my life here in Little Lincoln, Nebraska, and my impact is on those around me in my community
who
know me.
George Bailey.
Is that enough? Yes, dude. That is like, I think when I rewatch
It's a Wonderful
Life. Jeez, Long Christmas Weekend. When I rewatch It's a Wonderful Life, I think that is the thing that often sticks out to me. Is he has these big dreams of like grabbing the suitcase and we're going. Yeah. And oh shoot,
I'm gonna go to the jungle. And I'm gonna go to college.
Yeah,
it's gonna be amazing.
That's good.
Let's go, Mary.
Yeah. That's
I'm gonna
really good.
lasso the moon.
Buffalo
Here's a moon.
cow, won't you come
Buffalo
out
cow.
tonight? That's like,
Oh, what the hell is a buffalo cow? Wow.
give me my robe, please. My
Oh,
clothes.
what are you doing in the bush over
Sir,
there?
my clothes, please.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've only got my clothes here. If you ever, Mary,
Every time
shut up, kid.
bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Clarence.
Stupid. Whatever we just did was stupid.
I'm the richest man in Valley Falls or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
Bedford Falls.
That's the freaking realization. Yeah,
Yeah.
is that like just like I don't like. There is maybe a call to love and care for the people around me.
Yeah.
And what if the legacy of 50 years from now, when no one knows my name, what if that's okay?
Yeah.
And so I think I personally feel at 26, I feel a war, a tugging between those two things.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm looking at the next, I don't know, 20 years of my life, 30 years of my life. Maybe I'm just feeling old and mortal. I don't know.
You are old.
Like, thank
and you will die soon.
Thank you. I will die. We're
Yeah,
all dying.
soon.
We're already dying.
Very soon.
It's a long process.
Very, very
In the
soon.
grand scheme of things, you're right.
No.
Wait, like
In the near future.
no. Whoa.
Bang!
Yeah. Ah.
An assassin's bullet.
What? But yeah. Anyway, so I think the disunity, the breaking down of Podrick
Yeah.
is something I want to fight against in my life. Like, I want to fight for simplicity. I don't want to care if people think I'm dull.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm healthier when I am living in that place. And at the same time, I want to value my abilities and talents, but not
Somewhere
lose
between these
relationships.
guys.
Yeah,
Somewhere
exactly.
between these guys
Exactly.
is the answer.
Exactly.
And I think ultimately Siobhan is the answer. Like Siobhan is the adult in this situation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, an opportunity. What I desire is this. What I feel, you can say what you feel called to, what you like, the doors that are open before you, the whatever.
Interesting.
You create your own opportunity, whatever you want to, however you want to say it in a meaningful way to
Write
you.
your own story.
Yeah, exactly. She does the next best thing for her.
Yeah.
Which is to go get to
Librarian
move. Yeah.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
Mary, you're an old maid. You're working at a library.
Is that what happens?
Yeah.
She works in a library.
Yeah, so this is what happens in the world where George Bailey does
Yeah.
not marry Marion.
Yeah.
The awful future that Marion lives in is that she is
made librarian.
she is a single 20-something who works in a library. This is
cat
the
lady.
awful future.
Oh no!
Yes.
I forgot that part.
Mary.
I forgot that part.
She's all bundled up and she wears glasses now.
What
Mary.
you should be a cute stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
No.
You should saddle yourself with 8 children.
Is that how many they have?
No, there's like
Jeez,
3 or 4 or something.
Okay, cool.
Let's talk about our other categories here.
Yeah.
Because we're at 59 minutes.
Holy cow, this has been a good one.
It has, I think so. Score. What do you think of the music?
I don't remember it.
There were a few times when it stuck out to me. I think it's very, very understated, but when it's there, it really works. What I've written here is the music is a quiet sadness that follows everyone around. Like, it's not large and bombastic, and I think that that's perfect because it doesn't. It would distract from the story and it would distract from the characters because that's what the focus needs to be.
Right.
You get like drummers talking about Ringo Starr and talking about guys who are really technically proficient versus guys who are able to play to the song exactly the way that they ought to. And while Ringo is not the most technically fancy, proficient drummer of all time, you still get guys like Dave Grohl and John Bonham and stuff talking about how he's their favorite drummer of all time because he knew exactly what every song needed, whether that was just like a one beat every once in a while. But he had these very unique, specific things that he would do that were just so in the pocket. And I feel like that's the way that the music in this movie is.
That's good.
Where it's not in your face. And it is almost not noticed. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's very much intentional. And it's especially because because this guy did the score for every Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah.
This guy is very talented.
He can, yeah. Huh.
So I think that's really cool. Cinematography. Movie's gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Visually beautiful.
Yeah. Also, I also appreciate though that even though they're in this beautiful place, there's not an overabundance of like sweeping grand, like this place is beautiful. There's enough of it sprinkled throughout the movie to be like, wow, Ireland's cool.
Yeah.
To give you a sense of the place, and enough of it to give you the sense of place, enough of the big panning shots to be like, this is where they're at.
Yeah.
And yet the movie is very small and intimate because it's all on the same island. Like the story that it's telling is like, we're in the pub. Like it's kind of like 3 shots, really. It's like we're in the pub, we're at Podrick's house,
and we're at
Colm's house.
Those are the 3 bits.
Which is kind of like the play. Like if that's like
you have your sets, your 3 or 4 sets.
Exactly.
I think that's cool. You do get like big sweeping shots at the first opening of the movie and in the closing of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting of a way to bookend it because you get this large, beautiful landscape, but you do see that this is a very like, it's farmland and it's a small town and everything.
Yeah,
And you see the wide perspective of everything before zooming in and seeing a very idyllic. Podrick is all happy and smiling and saying hi to his neighbors. There's literally a rainbow in the background and stuff like that.
Right.
And what did I write here? Gorgeous opening shot, literally a rainbow in the back with happy music, waving to all the neighbors, kind of hilarious knowing what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I don't remember if maybe it was like, I think it was a little more gloomy visually, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's telling, Podrick's story.
But like all of the shots of in the pub, like everything is just immaculately lit. The color grading is gorgeous.
Is really good. Yeah.
Visually very, very beautiful. I wish that I could find some more shots to put on Instagram with this, but I haven't.
I really like, one that stood out to me was when Gleason was backlit while he was smoking in the window. That was like a shot that I thought was really well set up.
I took a picture of my screen for one.
Also, I don't know how hard it was to shoot in the pub, but I thought that was really well done too, to make it feel like the natural cloudy lighting coming through. And
I wonder if that was a set.
I
couldn't say. But the one that I really liked is after they've had their first fight and everything, and he says, whatever it is you're fighting about, I hope you figure it out or whatever. There's this, it's a beautiful shot when he's saying that, because it's like kind of dusk and he's looking over to the mainland, hearing the rifle fire. And it's this one right here.
Wow, yeah.
And it's just really, really beautiful and kind of melancholy.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't realize that he's talking about himself and Colm.
Right.
But the audience, it's very obvious. And I think that's really cool. There's a lot of just really, really beautiful stuff, but in a very simple, understated way. The way we were talking with Master and Commander about this, like, not basic, but like understated cinematography and stuff like that. Directing, I think directing and writing. Martin McDonagh does an incredible job. Have you seen In Bruges?
I haven't.
That's another Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson. It's very similar to this movie in tone.
Okay.
It's so good.
Cool.
I love that movie. I have not seen 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, and I have not seen 7 Psychopaths. But Martin McDonagh is just very, very good. I like him a lot. Let's see. General trivia. Oh, here's something fun. All the main characters' sweaters were made by the same elderly man who knit them by hand specifically for the film. He also knit doubles for each sweater.
I love that.
That's great. I want an old Irish man sweater. Apparently, there was also included in this, but I cut it out because I was like, why include that? Obviously. It was, he never met anyone on the cast. It's like, okay, well, why would he have? He's an old man making sweaters.
I don't know. It's a movie. It's oddly specific, but it does tell the story in a slightly different way.
Yeah. Brendan Gleeson actually plays the violin quite well and does all of his own playing in the movie.
Seriously? How cool. That's fun.
And then originally intended as the third of McDonagh's stage plays.
Wow.
That's the movie, Ben. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes.
I would say big yes.
I don't even know why I stuttered there. Yeah.
It's definitely a movie you have to like. I heard something recently about the difference between like a 6 o'clock movie and a 9 o'clock movie. Have you heard this?
No.
It's interesting. It's the idea that like most movies are 6 o'clock movies and some movies are 9 o'clock movies, where it's like 6 o'clock movies, you can just kind of sit down, watch a thing, and then go to bed without thinking about it, whatever. 9 o'clock movies, you kind of have to prepare yourself for. You have to kind of like slow down and then think, okay, this is the thing. And it's more like for grown-ups and stuff, so the kids are asleep, whatever. This is a 9 o'clock movie.
Okay.
You know?
I'm tracking with that. In my brain, when I hear that, I'm thinking like, which movie would I rather watch at 6 versus 9?
Sure.
I would call this a 6 o'clock movie because I want to be able to watch something else like palate cleanser afterwards.
Yeah.
Or at least like go do something else afterwards. But the way that you described it, after the kids are in bed, after like slow down, do your other stuff first so you can sit and watch it.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
So I think this is definitely 9 o'clock. I would also say yes. Ben, if this, then that. I have a few things. A couple things. Mostly just other Martin McDonagh things. I would suggest In Bruges. Especially if you like this movie, In Bruges is a great one. That is Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell. Ray Fiennes is in that as well. He's very good in that. That's a great movie. I really love it.
I'm still just so glad that I learned how to say his first name.
Ralph Fiennes.
I really was messing that up. I just thought it was Ralph. That's crazy.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm super wrong.
And an idiot.
Yeah, I'm a big idiot. Here I am hosting the freaking Cinema Lounge. You know what, viewer? I'll be an idiot so that you can learn too.
You're dull and you're holding me back.
Well,
I'm gonna get a new Ben.
That's a great
third Ben.
time. Third time's the charm.
Ben 3.
Yep.
I don't know another Ben.
We'll introduce you.
No other options.
We're out there. What were you saying though for the if this and that?
I said In Bruges, and I also had 3 Billboards on here just because it's Martin McDonagh. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I think really slow, understated things that are like very thinky I could put on this list. Like I might put Phantom Thread on here. Movies that feel like stage plays.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's good. What was that one that we watched? That freaking about jazz. That was literally a screenplay that they... The one that we watched, Ma Rainey's Fat
Did we watch
Bottom.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did that, Wonder Woman 84, and then a third thing all in one episode.
That was so dumb. We've grown a lot.
What a weird
We've grown.
whiplash.
We've grown.
That movie's very good. I would suggest that. Anything that is a stage play, because that's an August Wilson thing. So I guess Fences, you could watch Fences. Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. I am only thinking of... I can't think of any movies that make similar statements to me, but I can think of like books. So I'm thinking like more the idea of the war between the tug between your legacy and simplicity is making me think of thoughts from Wendell Berry, who is an author / farmer / poet, who has some good thoughts on living simply in your farm. Maybe a little maybe there's some Henry Nouwen mixed in there as well.
Henry later in?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe just like I don't know. I think there's some interesting philosophy at play between, or I don't know. It's making me want to not go maybe watch a movie, but maybe go like
read a book,
read some thoughts on legacy and and the value of living communal living versus individual living, community living versus
you could read Ecclesiastes.
Yes, of course. It's all dust. It's all nothing matters anymore.
You can watch,
drink your wine.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Hell yeah! Why?
Socrates is in it.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, wow,
dust in the wind, man.
Wow.
All we are is dust in the wind.
That's all you need, everybody.
I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone.
That was good.
We're the best.
Let's go.
New podcast.
Yeah.
Sing song.
Anyway,
Ben and Marshall do a sing song.
that's the bonus special features.
You're a bonus special feature.
Hello.
Wink, wink,
Yes,
wink.
I am.
Blinking now. Winking with the other eye.
Bonus. We're a special feature.
Alternating winking.
Anyway, Marshall, so we said yes. We said we gave him some stuff to go do afterwards.
Yeah.
Good night.
What'd you say?
I said good night.
No, it's morning.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I'll say, everyone. I will say our social media links and what's next. Guess what, guys? This is our 50th episode. How exciting. Yay. I just want to take a moment and thank everyone for listening, for sharing the show, for rating the show, for following the show at Cinema Lounge Pod on Instagram and Cinema Lounge Discord on Discord, which you can hop into. Our biggest fan, Eric Keel, he's in there now.
Wow.
He's in the Discord.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So you can interact with Eric, the Eric.
That guy.
Pretty cool. But yeah, you can check out the Discord, the Instagram, links in the description. And if you like the show, please share it with a friend. I'm looking at the camera again, even though it's not on.
Look at me, Marshall.
Okay, Ben, I'm looking at you, but you already know all that. I'm not telling you to share the show. You should share the show.
I should share the show.
Share the show. We would love for this show to grow and for more people to hear it and to be able to get your guys' perspective on, especially movies like this. Like, I think it'd be interesting to get some audience feedback and do every few episodes, do like a Q&A and get questions that people say or tell people ahead of time, like, this is what we're talking about, and then get their reviews and hear what they say, and we can tell them they're wrong because they're all fools.
We're geniuses.
And we're better than them, and they're holding us back.
Yep.
And
breaking up.
And we're breaking up. So yeah, just give the show a rating, share it on Spotify or on Instagram or wherever. If you got a friend who likes movies, you can tell them about the show. If you got a movie that we should watch, hop in the Discord, tell us about it. We would love to check it out. We're looking at possibly doing an episode in the off weeks that would be a shorter 30-minute thing that's just like a review type thing, not as much like the here's a movie that we think is great type thing. So like for new movies coming out, that's probably what we would do more so than unless it's something like this where we've seen it, we do think it's great. So yeah, thanks for listening. Check out the social medias, rate the show, share the show, and just thanks again for everyone who listens. 50 episodes is a lot. I've been on all those. Ben has been on most of those.
Yeah, that's a majority, I suppose.
Yeah, the vast majority at this point.
That's cool.
And here's to many, many more.
Cheers.
And we have to cheers our coffee.
Oh crap! Yeah, it's morning now, so we toast coffee.
Morning coffee toast.
Yeah.
You start.
Here's a toast to our legacy. May people remember our names 50 years from now.
Well, yes.
Or may they not remember our names 50 years from now, and may we be content with whatever legacy we leave.
Yeah.
Because it will be imperfect, but
especially some of us.
Yeah, preach, bro. It'll be imperfect, but we'll give it our best shot.
One.
We'll
I'm
be
perfect.
the humans we were intended to be.
I'm the perfect one, and Ben is the imperfect one.
Yeah, the Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Jekyll and Hyde. Here's to donkeys of sub-average size. Fingers. Shorn. Goats. 2 on screen at once. Distant gunshots. And houses burnt asunder.
Wow. Cheers. Coffee cheers. Wow, that makes me want to write I need to write it out next time. After the movie is over, I will write a toast.
You don't, dude. You think I wrote that down?
It was beautiful.
I'm just genius.
It was freaking poetic. That's what I'm saying. I need to write it down. I need to get on your level.
If you just say nonsense
I'm the dull
and make
one,
it sound
Marshall.
cool, that's true.
I'm the dull one.
You just have to say nonsense and make it sound neat. That's what I do.
Preach.
Donkeys torn asunder.
Okay.
Thanks everyone for listening. Rate the show. I've been Marshall.
And I've been Ben.